Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another rules breakdown. And this time I'm going to be covering the Terminator RPG Quick Start Beta version 1 rules. Bit of a mouthful. Now, I know these aren't the final rules, so it's perhaps not worth covering them, but I thought it was worth going through them and you can get an idea for what the game's like and decide whether you want to contribute to the get yourself a copy of the Quick Start rules, or even buy the RPG when it comes out. Now, with skills in the Terminator system, first thing to notice is difficulty numbers. Here on page 6 of the rules, we've got these 6 difficulty levels: mundane, simple, challenging, complex, strenuous, and insane difficulty. And mundane tasks are passed automatically, no matter when. But simple and challenging tasks are also passed automatically if you're attempting them when you're not under pressure. So a simple task like driving a car, or even challenging like driving a car around ordinary traffic, can be done when you have time, when you're not under pressure. But if you're being shot at, then those tasks do need a dice roll. So let's have a look at character sheet. If I flick all the way to the back, let's have a look at Williams here. We can see the skills are based on a rank and a bonus. So, athletics, let's take that. So, Williams here is trying to jump a small trench. We decide that's a difficult task. We go back to the difficulty numbers. So that was page 6. Complex, 10. It's a small trench, but he's trying to leap quite far. So, back to his character sheet. There he is. So he has a skill of 2 in athletics to jump something, and a bonus of 6. So if I go over to my dice roller that I've loaded up here, and we go 2d10, we throw the dice. So we've got a 6 and a 4. Well, first of all, you've got to remember that the first dice you're rolling, the rules recommend you roll one of a different colour, but if you're using something like this dice roller, then just choose the first dice. And that is the success dice. And that needs to succeed. So the target number was 10, we got a 6 on that, and he has a +6 bonus. So he rolled 12 on his first dice, so he succeeds. So he automatically succeeds the task. Or he manages to succeed the task. And the second dice adds to that level of success. So we got a 4, we add 6, so he gets a 10, so that succeeds as well. If we go back to the page 6, we can see complex task, target 10, he got 2 successes. And if I flick forward, we can see successes here on page 8. If you get a success on the success die, then you succeed. +1 each of your skill dice. You get an excellent success, +2 skill dice, exceptional success, +3 skill dice, incredible success, +4 or more unbelievable success. So the more dice you're rolling, the more likely you are to get an unbelievable success. So him jumping the trench, he gets an excellent success, so he clears it easily, manages to keep running, or however the games master wants to do it. Whereas a success, he would manage to clear it, but would, need to regain his balance or whatever. So that's how skills work. You roll a number of dice equal to your, what do they call it? Rank. And then you add the bonus to those dice. And depending on how many you get over the target number, after the first dice, you achieve a greater success. But that first dice must always succeed, or you fail completely. Now, initiative in this system is very, very easy. Basically, you're just using your initiative bonus here and adding 1d10. So if I go back over here, I change that to 1. We throw it. We've got a 6. Williams here has a 5, so he goes in 11. He goes before anybody in 10, he goes after anybody in 12. Anybody else in 11, it comes down to the detect skill, whoever has the highest. And the higher skill goes first within that. And everybody only gets one single action. Oh, and it must also be noted that phase declaration happens in reverse order. So people declare their actions in initiative order from low to high, and then they act high to low. So people who are going slower declare their actions so people who are going faster know what the slower people are doing. Now in combat, you're working against a static target number of 10. However, there's a lot of modifiers in the game, and the game's very much based about modifiers to that dice roll. So if we look at the character here, Williams has an assault rifle with 2 clips of ammunition, and his rifle skill is 3, and he has a bonus of 7, which we'll come back to. But if he was doing a melee attack, then he'd be using his melee weapons at 2 with a bonus of 7. However, you add your strength to that roll. So for a melee attack, he would be rolling 5 dice plus 2 for his melee weapons. He'd be rolling 7 dice. However, he might be trying to fight defensively to avoid getting hurt, in which case his skill wouldn't count and he'd just be using his strength to defend. But we'll go back to the rifle. So he's got a skill of 3 and he's got a bonus of 7 and he's using an assault rifle. If we flick back a few pages to the weapons, we can see the assault rifle here does 1d10 damage plus 3 and has a rate of fire of 1/3, which means it can fire 1 round or it can fire 3 rounds. Again, we'll come back to that. Now, if we go to page 16, we can see modifiers. So he's rolling against a target number of 10, but if the target's in light cover, he gets a -1 to his success die. So he'll only be rolling 3 dice, but his success die will have a -1 to the roll in that. But of course, he has a 7 bonus, so his success die would have a target number of, or a bonus of +6. Every other dice would have a bonus of +7. Heavy cover gives a -2 to the success die. We've got things like firing blind, -1 to all dice. And we've got melee target number changes as well. If you're charging a target, the target charges you, etc. And they all modify the roll. And we've got the rate of fire. So the assault rifle he was using could fire a single shot, rate of fire of 1, or a 3-round burst. Now, the 3-round burst doesn't change what you're rolling. It doesn't allow you to make multiple attacks. It just means that you may re-roll the success dice. And if you're firing a 10-round full automatic fire, you may re-roll any or all of the dice if you want. But let's go and roll him his skill. So he's got a 5. And even if the target was in light cover, we said that was a -1, so he's getting a 6 bonus. He's got a 6, +6 to that, so an 11. +7 to his second dice, so it'd be an 8. And +7, so 14. So he's got 1 success plus 1 increase. Must be noted as well with rate of fire that if you don't have enough bullets left in your clip to succeed past the minimum rate of fire, so if a gun only fires 3-round bursts and you only have 1 bullet left, then you can still fire it, but you get a -1 to the damage for every bullet you couldn't fire. So for a 3-round burst, you're only firing 1 bullet, you get a -2 to your damage. For full auto, you get a -9 on the damage. But we'll come to that shortly. And damage. Well, the damage is based on the weapon, but you've got certain modifiers. So if we skip on to page 18, we can see damage modifier based on strength for melee attacks. So if you've got a strength of 5 or 6, you get a bonus of +1 or +2. Also, rate of fire for ranged attacks. If you've got a rate of fire of 3, you've got a +2 damage. If you've got a rate of fire of 10, you've got +4 damage. Now, we were working out the assault rifle and we said a 3-round burst. So if we go back to the assault rifle, we can see that it does 1d10 plus 3. And we've got +2 from the 3-round burst, so it's +5. And its minimum damage is 6. So if I go back to here, throw 1d10, we get a 9, +5, 14 damage. Also worth mentioning is armour. So we can see the assault rifle has an AD of 2, and that's armour damage, which we'll need. But if we flick back up a few pages to the armour section, we can see the only armour in the Quick Start rules is a flak vest, which has a PV of 3 and a resistance of 12. So the PV is 3 points of damage, which comes off every attack which hits the flak vest. The resistance is an amount which indicates when the armour is destroyed. So it has a resistance of 12, and the assault rifle had an armour damage of 2. So every time the flak vest is hit by the assault rifle, it loses 2 points of resistance. Now when its resistance is halved, so at 6, the PV of the armour drops down to half as well, so 1.5. And when the resistance is completely gone, the armour is useless. Health in Terminator is measured using hit points. So if we flick down to the character sheet, but we need to come back to page 19 in a second, we can see that Williams has 22 hit points. Now, going back up to page 19, that means he can take 22 points of damage. But when he gets down to his last 6 hit points, he becomes critically damaged. So when he's been hit, he becomes bleeding. A character that suffers wounds will begin to bleed. A bleeding character loses 1 hit point for every 20 minutes until the character has healed all wounds. Bleeding remains the same regardless of the number of wounds the character suffers. Characters with a haemophilia illness trait lose 1 point every 10 minutes from bleeding. When you're down to your last 6 hit points, a character who is critical has suffered major damages close to death. While a character has the critical condition, they receive the following penalties: -2 to strength and dexterity, -1 to cons and cool. May not move faster than their closing speed. These penalties are removed as soon as a character regains sufficient hit points, so is taken back up above 6. And if you're taking a damage to the head, then you get the stunned status. Knock to the head, as well as certain other circumstances, can lead to a character becoming stunned. A stunned character will feel dizzy and react slowly. Anyone with a stunned condition is automatically considered to have the lowest initiative value of all combatants, selecting actions and acting simultaneously with other stunned characters. Additionally, a stunned character may move no faster than their closing speed and suffers a -1 modifier to all dice for any skill rolls they undertake. Stunned is removed with a medical intervention or with at least 6 hours rest. The Quick Start rules don't detail natural healing, but they do mention med packs. So if we flick down to the equipment section, we can see medical kit. The medical kit adds 1 automatic skill dice success on all medical rolls, and each use allows the user or their patient to heal either 2 hit points or 1 wound. The medikit provides 6 uses before it must be refilled or replaced. Which reminds me, I've forgotten to mention wounds. If I flick back up, wounds represent lacerations or penetrative damage that is more grievous than typical injury. Wounds are caused by damage to the limbs or head, or from a single attack that causes a character to lose more than 50% of their remaining hit points. A character can have at most 6 wounds. When a wound is taken, it should be noted on the player's character sheet by ticking the box next to the wounded location. Each location may have at most 1 wound. Wounds can be inflicted to the head, torso, left arm, left leg, and right leg. Any character with at least 1 wound receives the bleeding condition until all wounds are removed. Wounds can be healed with medical intervention. Wounds to the arms, leg, and head come with an additional implications as specified under the damage modifier margin of success. If at any time the character has 6 wounds, they are instantly killed regardless of how many hit points they have remaining. Well, these are Quick Start rules, so there are no advancement rules. But if you're running a couple of adventures using the same characters, you wanted to continue with them after the Quick Start adventure, then I suppose you could grant them hope points to make them more lucky, to allow them re-rolls and just to be a little bit better for the next adventure. But apart from that, there's no advancement rules. So that's a quick look at the Terminator RPG Quick Start Beta version 1 rules. I think there's some good points in them. I think they're a bit clunky. Personally, I prefer much lighter, faster systems, but maybe it's just because I'm not used to them. But I hope this has been useful to you. Please like, subscribe and comment below, as it does me massive favours with the YouTube algorithm. But most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.